Hello students, I am Vipul Mittal and in this session I will discuss who may be claimed as a qualifying child. You guys know that a dependent may be a qualifying child or a qualifying relative. So someone who is claimed by you as a dependent, that individual may be a qualifying child or a qualifying relative because dependent is either a qualifying child or a qualifying relative. So if you're claiming an individual as your dependent, then that individual is either a qualifying child or a qualifying relative. And in this session, I'm discussing who may be a qualifying child. I'm not discussing who may be a qualifying relative. That I've discussed in another video. So you may claim an individual as your qualifying child if certain conditions are met. So there are 5 conditions. We'll talk about those 5 conditions. If those 5 conditions are met, you may claim that individual as your qualifying child and your dependent. All right. First is the individual is under the age of 19 or a full-time student under the age of 24 at the end of the year or disabled. So if the individual is under the age of 19, it is okay. This condition is met. Individual is not under the age of 19, but is under the age of 24 and a full-time student. Full-time student for 5 months in the calendar year. Or that individual is disabled. So that individual should be permanently and totally disabled. We're not talking about a temporary disability. We're talking about permanent and total disability. But here there is no age limit actually. So you want to claim an individual as your qualifying child, and that individual should be under the age of 19 or a full-time student under the age of 24 or permanently and totally disabled. Another condition is that that individual must be younger to you. Now, next condition talks about relationship. That individual is your son, your daughter, or a descendant of any of them, or your brother or sister or descendant of any of them. So here we are talking about your son, your daughter, your grandson, granddaughter, great grandson, or great granddaughter, descendants. So your great grandson or great granddaughter or granddaughter may be claimed by you as qualifying child provided other conditions are also met. So the individual who is claimed by you as your qualifying child should be your son or daughter or descendant of any of them. When we say son or daughter, here you include stepson, stepdaughter, foster son, foster daughter, adopted son, adopted daughter. Now, this individual can also be your brother, sister, or descendant of any of them. We are talking about your niece, nephew. Yes. You may claim your nephew as your qualifying child. You may claim your niece as your qualifying child. So an individual who is your brother or sister or descendant of any of them may be claimed by you as your qualifying child, provided other conditions are also met. And when we say brother or sister, we also include stepbrother, stepsister, half brother, half sister. Okay. Let's see the third condition. The individual has the same principal place of abode as the taxpayer for more than one half of the year. So if you want to claim A as your qualifying child, then you and A have the same principal place of living. you and A have same principal place of a board for more than one half of the year, more than 50% time during the year, have the same principal place, same residence. Both you and A are living in the same house for more than 50% of the time during the year, except for temporary absences. So you want to claim A as your qualifying child, but A is not temporarily staying with you because of illness. A is in hospital, or because of education, A is in boarding school, or because of business, or because of vacation, or because of military service. So because of certain exceptional reasons, which are temporary in nature, the individual is not staying with you. When there are such temporary absences, it is considered that the individual is staying with you, although the individual is not staying with you. Individual is in hospital, for example, or individual is on vacation, but still it is considered that individual is staying with you during that period. It is considered that the individual has lived with you during those temporary absences. If individual was not staying with you because of vacation, if individual is not staying with you for 2 months because of illness, then actually the individual is staying with you for only 10 months, but it is considered that individual stayed with you for 12 months. Because during the period of temporary absence, it is considered that the individual lived with you. So you are the taxpayer. So you and the individual you want to claim as your qualifying child, both should have the same place of residence for more than one half of the year. Next condition, the individual has not filed a joint return with his or her spouse for the year. So if the individual is married, so you are claiming a married individual as your qualifying child, then that individual is not filing a joint return with his or her spouse, except to claim a refund. So if you want to claim A as your qualifying child and A is married and A files a joint return to claim a refund. So A is filing a joint return with his wife just to claim a refund, then it is okay. Otherwise, A should not be filing a joint return with his wife. Fifth, the individual has not provided more than half of his or her own support for the year. So, individual is not providing for his or her own support for the year, is not providing for more than 50% of his or her support for the year. If the individual is supporting himself or herself to the extent of 50%, it is okay, but not more than 50%. Self support should be less than or equals 50%, but not more than 50%. And what do you mean by support here? Support here means all his necessities, everything an individual needs. We are talking about food, we are talking about clothes, we are talking about shelter, we are talking about medical care, dental care, transport, recreation, education, everything an individual needs. We're talking about all his necessities. And who is paying for all those necessities? At least individuals should not be paying more than 50% of all these necessities. If individual is self-supporting him, okay, fine, but not more than 50%. So you want to claim A as your qualifying child, then A should not be self-supporting more than 50%. All right, students. I hope this session was helpful. We'll connect again. Goodbye. Take care.